Hey everybody, HB Gibson here. Welcome to a very, very special live report here on the X Zone. It's about like 1:55 a.m. I'm quite sure that nobody's up around this time, not unless you're coming home from partying and you're looking for some news, you're looking to hang out, you're looking to, talk about some geek stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the cancellation of Daredevil. Why did it happen? What happened? Well, there was a whole bunch of reports, a whole bunch of things, a whole lot of different reasons that were given, that were reported all over the internet as to the reasons why Daredevil was canceled. But before we go there, let's just recap Iron Fist. Okay, first season wasn't that great. Second season, super improvement, mega improvement. Got axed right after. Not long after, almost like a week later, not even a week later, we got the news that Luke Cage was canceled as well. Right after the second season. A lot of people did not like the second season as much as the first. And this is crazy because when Luke Cage was first released on Netflix, it pretty much broke Netflix. It broke Netflix. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. It's all. As a matter of fact, I have Mr. Richard Burgos. Thank you for joining me. Actually, your presence is going to help me get through this live broadcast a lot better, because I just didn't feel like recording it. Because you know how it is. Take one, take two, take three, and I still got to do the monthly X Zone Micro that I have to do. It's a monthly show now, so I got to have a script and everything. But I'm ranting. I'm going off topic. We're talking about Daredevil. All right, we're definitely talking about Daredevil. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you feel I'm the man. Thank you. And as you said to me earlier, us. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just continue right along. Yes, Luke Cage was the show that broke Netflix. If you remember when Luke Cage was first introduced on Netflix, okay, the moment it went on, the moment it was uploaded, it shut down Netflix because so many people were waiting for Luke Cage to show up. All right, black superhero. Everybody was really waiting for it. And the first season was fantastic. The second season started off great, didn't end that great. I just believe, as a Luke Cage fan, as a comic book fan, I just don't think that Luke Cage would have taken over a club. I just don't think he would have done that. I mean, we all know that Luke Cage was a hero for hire. Okay, he got paid doing it, and they went away from that on the television series, which I thought was kind of unusual. We were hoping that, being that Iron Fist was canceled and Luke Cage was canceled, we thought that we would probably get the Power Man and Iron Fist show. That did not happen. And as I reported in the last episode of X Zone Micro, I said, and I asked actually, is Daredevil next? We didn't hear anything, but now we did. We're here. It's out there now. No season 4. It is canceled. So Iron Fist gone. Luke Cage gone. Daredevil gone. What will happen to the Punisher and Jessica Jones? Well, they still have to meet their contractual obligations. They have to finish their production. So we are going to get another season, at least one, from each show. Jessica Jones is coming back. The Punisher is coming back. They're both coming back for another season because they are contractually obligated to do it. But guess what, y'all? After that, that's it. Okay? Now, let's get back to the speculations as to the reason why they were canceled. At first, people were saying that viewership was down. Honestly, that could be a reason for it to be canceled, but that was a very, very small reason. Now let's go to Screen Rant. We're going to go to screenrants.com. According to Rolling Stone TV critic Alan Sepinwall, okay, he went to Twitter, and I don't know if he was actually quoting Netflix, but he said that the execs over at Disney, we're talking about Disney now, all right? We're going to get to Netflix at right now. This might be putting the cart before the horse. That Disney said that they don't want the Netflix Marvel shows. They don't want them. And even if they did, the nature of the contracts would make it virtually impossible. They're done. Okay, this is according to Alan Sepinwall, TV critic from Rolling Stone. He also went on to point out that there's a crucial difference between Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment. I'm reading from Screen Rant. Behind the scenes, there was behind the scenes drama that led Disney to split those two subsidiaries apart back in 2015. So this has been going on for a long time. The Disney Plus Marvel shows are being made by Marvel Studios. These are the guys that do the MCU. Marvel Entertainment deals with the television shows, and they don't get along. They don't get along at all. The Marvel TV execs do not get along with Marvel Studios, which handles the MCU. So there's two different factions in Marvel. Crazy, but that's what it is. So that was a possible reason why things didn't work out and why we won't see them on Disney. But guess what? That's still not the main reason. So here we go. We're going to get to the main reason right now. According to Forbes.com, I'm going to put links in the descriptions. Okay. We just went over the little reasons, which are not the main reasons, not the true causes, but very, very tiny factors. Very tiny factors. All right. Here it is, according to Forbes, and this is the thing that made the most sense. Netflix, this is according to Forbes, Netflix pays money to produce the Marvel shows, but they don't own the IP, the intellectual properties, okay? Those shows have a clear and consistent branding to Marvel Studios, okay? Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and The Punisher. They're all intellectual properties of Marvel Studios, okay? So when the D Plus service does start airing the Marvel shows tied to the popular films, any Marvel series on Netflix will service as a de facto advertising for the other Marvel shows on Disney. To make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, Netflix does not want to shell out more money for future productions for an IP that Netflix does not own. They own the shows, but they don't own the characters within. Those belong to Marvel. All right, which is under the umbrella company of Disney, not umbrella company as in Resident Evil. Kick. A little joke on side joke. Disney will be having their own streaming service called Disney Plus. So if Netflix kept doing that, they would be basically playing for an IP, a popular IP that's owned by Marvel characters that belong to Disney, that will be featured on the new Disney Plus streaming service, and it would serve as like advertising for something that is technically going to be their competition. So you got all these shows, you know what I'm saying? Let me switch back here. You have all these shows that have Marvel characters in them, and you're paying all this money for a production that, even though you might own the shows and you can keep the shows on your streaming service, you don't own the characters. So you're basically giving Disney Plus free advertising because Disney owns Marvel. So why go on paying for more productions for more Marvel shows when it's not really benefiting you? And you're basically feeding your competition because you'll be paying for more shows featuring Marvel characters that don't belong to you. And Marvel is under Disney. So it's like you're feeding Disney. You know what I'm saying? And that's supposed to be your competition. Now, for Daredevil fans and Iron Fist fans and Luke Cage fans, and let's keep it real. All right. All the Marvel shows on Netflix, are very, very mature in content. It's a lot of cursing, a lot of violence, sex, all that. I don't recall seeing any nudity, but listen, this is hardcore stuff. This is R-rated material. And it's my belief that the Marvel Entertainment had such a bad taste in their mouth in regards to Marvel Studios, who handle MCU. By the way, the MCU guys are going to be creating television shows for the Disney Plus streaming service. I mean, we're having MCU people doing a series, actually there's 3 series. There's one for Scarlet Witch, there's one for Loki, and there's also a series that's going to feature Falcon and Winter Soldier. And these are going to be produced, top-notch produced shows by the MCU guys. So we're getting MCU quality stuff on this streaming service. All right. This is going to be big. This is a big deal. Star Wars is going to be over there. I mean, everything is going to get snatched up. So don't be surprised that after a while, you're not going to see Star Wars anything on Netflix after a while. Right now, we have there's Rogue One is available. The Last Jedi is available. I think Clone Wars is still on there somewhere, I believe. But we're not going to see them anymore. They're going to be gone. So what's going to happen to Netflix? What's Netflix going to do? We're going to talk about that in a few minutes, how this could actually help Netflix. And Netflix isn't dumb. They saw this coming, especially when they kind of saw, so the viewership going down was a very, very tiny thing. Very, very tiny. They just didn't want to pay for shows that is basically feeding the Disney machine. These are Marvel characters. Marvel is Marvel. Even though they got 2 warring factions within Marvel, it's still Marvel. These are still Marvel characters. You can have Spider-Man hang out with Daredevil if they wanted to. All right. You could have Jessica Jones hang out with Tony Stark if they wanted to. If they're willing to pay for it, they can do it. This is Disney. They can do that if they want to. All right. They can have Luke Cage be a part of the Avengers if they wanted to. All right. But the problem is, let's talk about the content now. Will the fans of the more, let's just say, adult style Marvel shows put up with a Disney-fied version of it? Huh? Will they flock to a more Disney-fied, more lighthearted Daredevil? No, they're not. The fans enjoyed Daredevil. They enjoyed Jessica Jones. They enjoyed Iron Fist. They enjoyed The Punisher. Why? Because these were dark, hardcore Marvel shows that took a risk. They weren't all candy-coated. They were hard. Daredevil, probably the best fight scenes that I've ever seen on television. Ever. I mean, come on. They are not, Disney is not going to have that type of material on their streaming service. They're not. They're just plain not. So there you have it. That's the real reason why. And but there is let me roll back. I do believe that I read also either on Forbes or on Screen Rant. I put the links in the description that the only possible way that the Marvel shows can live on would possibly be Hulu. If Hulu is interested, they can continue. All right, they can continue. I also heard, I forget where I read it from, that Michael Coulter did not really like the way Luke Cage was being treated anyway. So do you really think that he would want to be Disney-fied? Now, I'm not saying that it wouldn't work. I'm not saying that a PG-13 Luke Cage wouldn't work, that a PG-13 Daredevil wouldn't work. I'm not saying that a PG-13 Iron Fist wouldn't work. I'm not saying that. You notice I left out the Punisher, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I'm just saying that those shows laid the groundwork. The particular production of those particular shows were the groundwork. The newer generation will, not us. Yeah, but Richard, I'm gonna tell you something. The only way that this would work is if they completely go to the comics, because the Marvel Netflix shows, as good and as gritty as they were, the risks that they took were mega, fantastic risks. The only way that these characters, these Defenders characters, will work in a Disney-fied Marvel situation is if they completely go to the comics, and the writing has to be spectacular. They would have to resurrect it like they did with Spider-Man. I didn't mind Andrew Garfield, but the writing was not that good. So, and plus, I heard that they had some issues with Andrew Garfield anyway, behind the scenes with him, with Spider-Man anyway. So, but anyway, I digress. That's what I heard. Don't quote me. That's what I heard. You can look it up. But they managed to do an amazing reboot with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Okay. So it is with these characters. They're Marvel characters. So they have to go to the comics. All right. Now, they didn't necessarily do that with Spider-Man Homecoming. I know they didn't do that. But if you go back to the source material, if you go back to the Luke Cage comic books, if you go back to the Iron Fist comic books, and I'm telling you, they need to put Iron Fist and Luke Cage together and make the show into Power Man and Iron Fist. They need to, that's the title that they should go with. Power Man and Iron Fist. I'm going to tell you why. It could be a huge joke. People could be calling Luke Cage Power Man and he just doesn't like it. So that could be like a running gag throughout the entire series. Make them the heroes for hire that they are in the damn comic books. Go back to the source material. That's how you save these characters. Or if they decide to keep the grittiness of the Netflix style, they would have to take it to Hulu. That's the only way that it would work. All right. So now, the Punisher. If you ask me if Disney had it their way, they would make the Punisher no longer part of the Marvel universe, because Disney is family friendly. I'm going to digress for a second. You know, Disney is working on acquiring Fox. That means we won't see another Alien film, probably. I mean, there will be no aliens. There will be no more Predator. You know what I'm saying? You know, Disney would have to have some kind of a serious subdivision, studio for mature audiences. But Disney's not going to do it, which is crazy, because at one time, and I'm diverting a little bit, at one time, there was going to be an alien-based theme park attraction at Disney World. I kid you not. It was going to be an alien themed theme park attraction at Disney, and it was going to be called Nostromo. It was going to be very much like the MIB Alien Attack ride. They were going to, participants would be in a queue. And as they're waiting in the queue, they're handed these laser tag type guns. And you were led through the Nostromo hunting aliens or aliens or whatever. And you scored points and things like that. And then when the Imagineers, the higher execs, Imagineers of Disney heard about that, they were like, no, we're not having that. So what did they do? They did something different. They did something called Alien Encounter. George Lucas got involved and created something. It was an extrasensory experience called Alien Encounter. You can look up the entire ride, the entire sequence of the entire ride, the entire experience. You can see that on YouTube, and probably like once I'm done with this, I'll put a link to that. But it was a scary experience. I experienced Alien Encounter. It was incredible. And then when people found out that it was way too scary, it was a scary experience. They went and they closed it down, and they turned it into a Stitch, like Lilo and Stitch themed encounter. So they basically took everything that Alien Encounter was, and they lightened it up and turned it into a Stitch adventure. A Stitch is called Stitch Alien Escape or something like that, or something like that. But they really Disney-fied that thing. But it was a scary thing. Alien Encounter, look it up. So Disney is not playing when it comes to their family-friendly entertainment. So what's going to happen with The Punisher? I don't know. All I know is that The Punisher is going to have another season. Jessica Jones is going to have another season. So that's basically it. I'm trying to look up to see if there was more information. That's basically it. I think I covered everything. Now check this out. What does this mean for Netflix? We done already talked about Marvel. We done already talked about Marvel and the possibilities. All right. Marvel and the possibilities. We already know that it would, I can see Luke Cage being in that next phase of Marvel films, of the Avengers. They really haven't scratched the surface of Luke Cage. Luke Cage pretty much is, I would say, like maybe 1/4 the strength of the Hulk. All right. He can jump. He has abilities. He has the ability to he can jump. He's got super strength. I mean, think about it. The Avengers have Black Widow and Hawkeye, two non-superpowered beings that can, hang with the rest of the Avengers. They can hang. So what makes you think that Luke Cage can't hang? What makes you think that Iron Fist can't hang? Maybe have Iron Fist and Luke Cage do a brief stint in an Avenger film, and once they do a mission with the Avengers, they'll be like, okay, like that was cool and everything, but that's not us. We were happy to help, but we got to get back to the city. And they do a Heroes for Hire series or a Heroes for Hire movie or whatever. It can be done. It can be done. John Bernthal has proven himself to be an amazing Punisher. They can do a great Punisher film and really go back to the comics. Go back to the comics. Go back to the comics. Go back to the comic. Go back to the damn comics. Okay? That's what I would do. Now, let's talk about Netflix now. Okay, Marvel, let's push that aside. In actuality, since Netflix made that decision to no longer pay for any more Marvel, okay, Marvel's done. They're going to keep them on, but Marvel's done. And by the way, it's been said that Daredevil does still have a future. with Marvel. It just said Daredevil. They didn't say any other characters, but they did say Daredevil. So will Charlie Cox still be Daredevil? I hope so, but they probably won't do it. They'll probably do a soft reboot, just like they did with Spider-Man. That's what I'm thinking. They're probably good. That's what I'm thinking they're probably going to do. But once again, Marvel aside, what's Netflix going to do? Netflix has an opportunity. I don't think they're scared. I don't think they're worried about anything. They loosened themselves from Marvel. This is a golden opportunity for other IPs, maybe even the Valiant comic book universe could start doing live action shows on Netflix. How about Image Comics? Have them come to Netflix. Why would they waste money on a Spawn movie when they can do a Spawn live action series on Netflix? Or maybe do an entire movie and put it on Netflix. Think about it. All those Image comic book characters, Savage Dragon, huh? Have a Savage Dragon animated series or live action series. How about bring back Gen 13, the Jim Lee comic book, Gen 13, or the Wildcats, either animated or live action. Netflix is now fertile ground for other IPs to thrive. Exactly. Yeah, Rich, we here, bro. We here. There's so much opportunity. Now, what's the brother's name? I gotta look him up. I gotta look him up. You have to excuse me. I gotta go onto the phone and look him up. This brother right here, the young man that brought us the fantastic fan films. I'm going to look that up right now. It was the Power Rangers fan film, and I'm trying to find the guy's name and who directed it. Okay, who he directed it? Yes, it was directed and co-written by Joseph Kahn and produced by Adi Shankar. Adi Shankar. He has something called the Bootleg Universe. Okay, he did a Punisher fan film called Dirty Laundry with Thomas Jane. Look it up. He also did a Venom fan film, which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. And of course, he did the Power Rangers fan film. He is now. Let's take a look at. Okay, Adi Shankar. All right. So that way I don't. That way I don't do the wrong thing. I want to make sure that this is correct. Hold on, Castle. Yes, Adi Shankar is also involved with Castlevania. Yes, Unworthy. I think it was Unworthy. I can't remember. But Adi Shankar, he's responsible for that fantastic Castlevania anime that's on Netflix. And I'm going to be talking about this in an up-and-coming episode of the X-Zone Micro. I'm not going to dive into it too much here, but it's going to be a Devil May Cry animated series that's actually going to be part of his Bootleg universe. I'm not going to get into it anymore because that's for X-Zone Micro. Yes, so we are going to see a Devil May Cry animated series, which I think is fantastic because the Devil May Cry game series is so much fun to play. It's such a fun game. So you can imagine the main character, Dante, how he's going to look in anime form. It's going to be really, really fantastic. And if they stay within the confines of the game and the universe, they won't have anything to worry about. So this could also mean this could be fertile ground for anything else Capcom. Get a series of Capcom-based animated shows. You could go Mega Man. Why not do another Street Fighter series? Maybe even a Street Fighter live action series. I mean, they did it with Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. Why not turn that into a full series? Get with the guys that created Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. And then I think they did a follow-up to it. I think it was called Street Fighter Revenge or something like that. And I think that would work. I think that would really be good. It's fertile ground for stuff like that. Other properties, other comic book properties, other video game-based series properties. It can work. Netflix has nothing to worry about separating themselves from Marvel. They don't. Time to see some new stuff. Time to see some great stuff. I mean, like, what would you like to see on Netflix? I had an idea for an Alien series, but being that, you know, it belongs to Fox and Fox is about to be acquired by Disney, that kind of blows that out of the water. I talked about my idea for an Aliens television series where they don't even really have to even show the aliens that much. They could have the eggs, they could have the face huggers, they could have the chest bursters. That could save money. And then the bigger aliens, they can do CGI and stuff like that, or they could put people back in costumes like they did with Aliens. But the show would center around the human characters versus the androids, who's for the company, who's not for the company. They can make it tense like The Walking Dead, like who you can trust, who you can't trust, and they're all marooned on this planet that's overrun by aliens, just like LV-426, but this is like a different planet, and call it LV-4 something something or other, you know, and make that into a series. I think it would make a great series. It could be very character driven if it's really written well. You don't have to show an alien in every episode, but the threat is always there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would be a great idea. I think that would be a good idea to make an alien series. Why not? And just call it LV-4 something something. All right. So that's basically it. That's my time. That's what happened with Daredevil. That's what's happening with all the other Marvel IPs. Basically, Netflix does not want to keep shooting itself in the foot and bleeding itself out and feeding another machine, paying for more Marvel shows when the IPs do not belong to them. They belong to Marvel, and Marvel belongs to Disney. So I think Netflix did the right thing, you know, in you know, from a whole world view, they did the right thing. I just hope that that Disney does well with the Marvel property like they've been doing. I love the DC streaming service. I think they're doing great with that. If you haven't been watching Titans, you really should. It is really, really good. And speaking of Marvel, I'm kind of going off track here. I finally saw Venom, and it was actually pretty good. I mean, even though despite the fact that they went away from the original origin of Venom, for what they did, it was actually pretty damn good. And I actually can see how Spider-Man can fit in there. I mean, Eddie Brock was Eddie Brock, and I think they did a good representation of the Venom character. I believe when I saw it, I was like, yep. From a person that read comics, to me, that was Venom. And Tom Hardy did a great job portraying Eddie Brock. I thought it was really great. I really thought it was good, and there were references to the Marvel universe, right down to the astronaut whose last name is Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson's son is an astronaut, so you can imagine JJJ, with his son dying and everything, that how it devastated him. So it can work. It can work. Spider-Man can work in the Venom universe, and Venom can work in the Spider-Man universe. Definitely, I believe it can. I think it can work. Yeah, I think, man, Thundercats deserves a live action film. I think Thundercats deserves a live action film, Richard. I definitely believe. I mean, and He-Man is overdue for a live action film, or at least an animated series. I mean, there's so many things that they can do. There's so many properties that would fit so well on Netflix. They just have to try. It's so rich, full of IPs out there that are looking for a place to live and thrive. Thundercats, He-Man, so many other properties can exist on Netflix. They just got to give it a chance. All right. So with that being said, it is 2:31 and I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. So I want to thank everybody for, Silverhawks. Yeah, Silverhawks. Absolutely. But no tiger sharks. No. Leave tiger sharks alone. Oh, another good show would actually work. I would love to see them bring back. There's a show called The Inhumanoids. And that show was such a risk because the monsters and a lot of the things that went on in that show were pretty freaking gross. The violence on that show, the grotesqueness of everything was like pretty gross. I never knew what happened, because Metlar, one of the villains, Metlar, was supposed to be indestructible, and I don't remember if they ever really destroyed Metlar ever. So, but we'll see. All right, okay, man. Hey, Richard, thank you for joining me here on the live broadcast. And if you're watching this after the live broadcast, thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. I think that season 4 of the X Zone is probably going to be more like this, less special effects and a lot more of me talking to you. And of course, we're going to be doing a lot more trailer reactions. Oh, by the way, I put together a secret group on Facebook called HB Gibson's Reactor. Okay. It's a special secret group that's going to be only for Patreon supporters. But I'm giving people an opportunity to be a member of this secret group for free for 1 month. All right. Holla at me at haroldbgibson@gmail.com. All right. haroldbgibson@gmail.com or hbgibsonxzone@gmail.com. All right. Actually, I prefer that you send me the email there. hbgibsonxzone@gmail.com. And let me know if you want to be a member for free. It's only going to be for 1 month. It's going to be in January. All right. That's the test audience month. Okay. Then after that, if it does well, then we'll launch the Patreon. If you want to be a part of it, it's only going to be $2 a month. Just $2. All right. So just $2 a month. And plus, you get 2 other things along with the $2 Patreon. But stay tuned. All right. So yeah, so if you're interested in being part of HB Gibson's Reactor, it is a Facebook only show free before it turns into a Patreon supported show, for free during the month of January only. All right. If you're interested, email me hbgibsonxzone@gmail.com. So until then, I love y'all to life, and I will see you in the next video coming soon. X Zone Micro, which is the monthly show, and also Dark Voltage, the Black Lightning After Show. I have an announcement about that as well. Going to be some changes. Okay. So have a great evening. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.